Okay, hello. My name is Bruce Montgomery. I'm the Program Director for the BA Honours Fashion course at Epsom, and I'm also Program Director for the MA Fashion Design course at Rochester. Today, I'm going to talk to you about a career in fashion. So firstly, just to give you a short insight into my own career, just to give some context. I'm an experienced academic program director for fashion with having had an international career in fashion, designing collections for British, Japanese and Italian luxury brands, which were presented on the Milan catwalk during Milan Fashion Week. Over the years, I've worked for Dax, the British heritage brand, Catherine Hamnet, Soprani, Moschino, and Onward Kashiyama. My work has been featured in the international fashion press, such as Vogue, GQ, Nile magazine in Japan, Crash magazine in France, Textile Wirtschaft in Germany. I've been chairman of the British Menswear Guild Committee for 2 years, and I've also been a contributing external examiner for the BA Menswear and Knitwear course at St Martin's, and I also did tailoring reviews at the Royal College of Art. So let's start by putting the fashion industry into some form of perspective. So according to the British Fashion Council, the statistics show that the fashion industry is worth a staggering 26 billion and provides about 800,000 jobs to the economy. So as you can see, the creative industry is very strong, and fashion certainly is a career that I think is well worth giving thought to. So how do you enter the fashion industry? Well, first of all, you may want to do a foundation course or do A-levels and create a portfolio, and then apply for a 3-year fashion or fashion design course. There are about 35 courses across the UK. UCA has 2 courses, the BA Fashion at Epsom that I mentioned, and also a BA Fashion course in fashion design at Rochester. Both are very good courses with good reputations and high achievement of getting employability for the graduates. The BA Fashion course at Epsom is ranked for its quality of teaching on the very well-known Business of Fashion website. So moving on a little bit now, what skill set would be required for someone wanting to go into the fashion industry? Well, the fashion industry requires a variety of skills from research, because it's very important to research in order to get, information for creating ideas. Identifying trends. Fashion is all about trends. They come, they go. Some of them are larger than others, but they certainly influence the products that we design. Designing, sketching, whether it be hand drawing or these days a lot of design work is done through computer-aided design, so on programs such as InDesign, Photoshop, Illustrator, and there's a whole host more. Learning pattern cutting skills, very much for 2D to 3D work, plus obviously sewing and garment making skills. If you joined on a BA fashion course, all of these would be taught in a studio environment, or the CAD would be taught in a Mac suite. Students also become familiar with how the design and manufacturing process works, including the supply chain, and they learn about how the industry that they're about to go into works from a holistic and in a more detailed point of view. So I guess the next thing is, how do we, at either the Epsom or the Rochester course, prepare students from our point of view? Well, first of all, the students are taught through a variety of methods: lectures, seminars, group work, practical work, discussions, a lot of demonstrations, so maybe showing how something's done and then getting you to try it. All sorts of methods that, depending on what we're working on. So the aim of the course is obviously to develop you as a fashion designer, develop your 2D and your 3D skills, because you'll find that you use both and that they work interacting with each other. Build up your technical knowledge, that makes you a better designer. And also, the more you know about garment construction, it can influence the way you design a particular garment or outfit. equip you with the foundation of fashion history and theory that enhances, your knowledge, get you to have a critical thinking mind, because that also prepares you for the fashion industry, because by knowing what's happened previously, you're in a better position for starting to try and change things and improve things, and make some great designs for the fashion industry going forward. So everything starts then with a design project, starts with a brief, and then that brief would lay out the key things that you're being asked to do. We then would, be getting you to do, for example, life drawing, which underpins fashion illustration. We would provide fashion illustration classes. You'll be doing pattern cutting sessions with pattern cutters who work in the industry. So they'll come in a couple of days a week to teach you when they're not working in industry. We'll do make projects. You'll get a design critique with your peers, which you're assessed from at the end when you've made up your outfits. During the course, we'll invite industry guest speakers. You'll do color work, very important to get yourself a sense of color, how to use color in new ways. You'll be learning about fabric and cloth, again, to have a very good knowledge of cloth, what each cloth does, what are its properties, how it handles, how it touches, how it reacts, etc. Sewing skills, both hand sewing and using industrial sewing machines. Our studios are equipped to industry standard, so you'll also learn about how to use the fusing presses and other equipment that we've got, for example, laser cutters that we've got within the studio. Then 1 day a week, you'll do critical studies, as I mentioned, and which you'll debate and write about the fashion industry, because it's very important that, you have both a verbal and a practical skill set. And then this written work culminates in a dissertation in the third year, which is part of your degree submission, along with your design work, portfolio, and garment construction work, where you'll be showing off whether it's your final collection or other, garments alongside a portfolio. The fashion course, I think, has key features that will sort of define the course. For example, the BA fashion course at Epsom has a unique couple of pathways. You can either choose to do the final collection route and make up a final collection, first of all a pre-collection and then a final collection, or you can do the fashion design and branding option where you make up a pre-collection and then 2 garments only, but you make them up in conjunction with a manufacturer. So you learn all about costing, about doing spec sheets, about liaising with a factory, and setting up your own brand, doing branding, so swing tickets, promotion material, looking how that idea will work as a new market opportunity. So it's a more holistic experience and a different way of entering the industry. We are BFC Council College member. We're also a member of the Graduate Fashion Week. Our course creates, I would say, multi-skilled designers because it's very important that you know how to design, pattern cut and garment construct and have a vision. Our staff are all linked practitioners, many connected with London Fashion Week companies. The course has a diverse intake with a hands-on approach to learning. So again, that's very important for the spectrum across the cohort and across the staff. And then individuality in student final collections, I think, is another handwriting, very much getting the students to express their own ideas and not imposing ideas upon you. So another thing that will happen is the fashion industry can have at times quite a lot of pressure, but we provide students with support, whether it be for learning and development or careers and employability or things like dyslexia or even counselling. Mental health is something that does crop up in today's society, especially for young people, and we do provide support also for that. So what sort of practical work would you do? Well, definitely designing and making full outfits in a studio environment that is equipped, as I said, with industry specified machinery. In the second year, we would send you out on an industrial placement in which you'll gain hands-on experience in a contemporary studio or company. Examples, and they do vary, which is great, from large companies like Ralph Lauren, London fashion week designer Simone Rocha, Hussein Chalayan, Marcus Lupfer, Maru Schwab, Erdem, Peter Pilotto, J.W. Anderson, French Connection, Next, Acne, CP Company, Adidas, and even Nike. We've had students there as well. Students will also enter fashion design competitions. I think it's very important, a little bit of edge of competitiveness and seeing how you stand up against your peers from other courses. So through the Graduate Fashion Week, the British Fashion Council, the British Library, and a host of others, such as companies like Redress on sustainability, you will get the chance to enter competitions. The BA Fashion course at Epsom won the Fashion Illustration Award this year. That was great. In previous years, we've won the Hilary Alexander Trailblazer Award and the Women's Wear Award. So what sort of case studies do we replicate from the real world? Well, we look at case studies that replicate and incorporate the following. Innovation, very important to be showing students example of real innovation. Diversity, that I mentioned earlier. Case studies that show multi-skills, because science, technology, and biology are all affecting fashion design now in different ways. The case studies of the industry itself, so very much how someone's career has progressed and what the impact they've had on the industry. And then case studies of making, so very strong examples of different ways that factories are putting together garments or new methods of actual machinery. Such as, for example, the Gerber, the Rochester course has the Gerber facilities, and I think that's a great asset to be able to be showing how that works. So this takes place through research, practice-based lectures. We have a professional practice unit, and this prepares the students for industry. You'll be given help to get your CV together and your portfolio for going for interviews. We'll even do mock interviews before you actually go to the company. We'll help you how to target companies. So if you've got a specific company in mind that you'd like to do a placement at, we'll help you work out how to approach them, as well as we've got our own university fashion course database. We'll look at interview techniques, and we'll also be talking to you about how to talk about your work and how generally to present yourself at interview. Another thing is that sustainability within the fashion industry is now a very key topic. And so courses are incorporating it both into the curriculum and into practical project briefs. So again, this is all part of us helping you to be in tune with an industry that is becoming more and more sustainable. So what do fashion design graduates do? Well, the graduates can go on to work in a variety of roles, usually as a junior designer, moving up the ladder to assistant designer or head of design, and then obviously on to the prestigious role of creative director after you've gained quite a lot of experience. These roles will often be in women's wear, men's wear, or even both, because a lot of brands do both. And you can either work for high street brands or luxury fashion brands. If you're not a creator, can you still work in the fashion industry? I'm often asked. Yes, you can still work in fashion, but it would be in more of a design management role. For example, you could be a studio manager, you could be a production manager, you could be the pattern cutter, so working very closely with the designer, or you may even be the garment technician within a studio environment. All of these roles you could do after you've done a BA Honours Fashion course. A lot of these roles are well paid, and some of them are actually very key roles within the company. So what other types of specialism does the industry require? Well, a key one is transferable skills. And we do provide careers talks and lectures on both how to progress through the industry, but also how to use these transferable skills. Fashion is quite competitive. It's constantly changing. So the types of skills I'm referring to are time management, so how to cope with a variety of design briefs that you may be working on in one go, problem solving, because things always happen. So maybe a fabric's running late. So have you got a plan B? What if the buttons don't turn up at the factory? Have you got another supplier ready with some buttons so that the whole process doesn't get held up? Initiative, self-motivation, very important, especially when you've got a lot of design briefs on the go and you have to come up with a lot of ideas. Thinking outside the box, always very good to be trying to think of new ways to do things. But then you have to learn to communicate those skills to others, because you will be working as part of a team or liaising with a factory. CV writing, I did mention earlier, but again, very important to know how to put together a CV that sells you and makes it very clear both your qualifications and the potential that you can give the company. So all of this will put you in good stead for going out into the industry, and we spend quite a lot of time working on this. So what success stories have we had from an alumni point of view? Well, the very well-known fashion designer and print designer Zandra Rhodes is a UCA graduate. Other successful graduates from the BA Honours Fashion course at Epsom who have set up their own brand and achieved international acclaim include Priya Ahuwalia. She's gone on to unbelievable success, showing at London Men's Fashion Week, but she's also become a shared winner this year of the LVMH prize. Tremendous achievement, and I think we're going to be hearing a lot more about Priya as her brand grows. Robert Saunders has shown his menswear at London Fashion Week. A little bit closer last year, Erin Hayhow. She did an MA and has now gone on to show her collection at London Fashion Week. So very much she's come through the UCA graduate system. Another question I often get asked is, do the graduates work across the industry? Well, very much so. We've had graduates that have worked at Louis Vuitton, Ralph Lauren, Vivienne Westwood, Temperley, Kenzo, Versace, Margiela, and even Gymshark, which is a brand that is really going from strength to strength. I suppose going back to award winners, just to show that we're consistent, we had back in 2018 a graduate who won the prestigious Fashion Council Scholarship Award, been able to set up his own brand. As I said, we won the Hilary Alexander Trailblazer Award. We've had runners-up in the Best Portfolio Award, shortlisted for students shortlisted for the Best Accessories. 3 students presented essays and writings in Chai Mode, which is an international congress of fashion and design in Madrid. We've had finalists in the Cass Arts Drawing and Fashion Illustration Award. More recently, we've had a student who did a residency with TikTok and has helped to create, working on their uniform. So, the list goes on, and I think it shows that we're incredibly consistent at getting students to really do their best work and getting recognition for it. And then lastly, just to say that I think what is important is that from the word go, think about being both creative, but also looking for how to make fashion, going forward sustainable, but also, not to be afraid to try new methods of doing things. Fashion is not about repeating what's gone before. It's about very much looking to the future. All these companies, in order to stay in the market and to retain their market share, need to be providing new products. They need to be looking at new ways to market themselves and just generally new ways to make the consumer very happy with the products and image that they offer. So I think when you enter a fashion course, it's about 3 years of gaining a grounding, gaining knowledge, but all this is about building up to be part of what is a very exciting fashion industry that is always looking for new graduates to provide new innovation and create opportunities. So I hope this provides an insight into how the fashion industry works, how you can get into the fashion industry, and how fashion courses such as the BA Fashion course at Epsom and the BA Fashion Design course at Rochester will provide you with that grounding and opportunity. Okay, so thank you very much, and hope that helps.
Štai toks prisistatymas nuo universiteto iš Rochesterio, University for the Creative Arts, ir kalba apie karjerą mados industrijoje. Mes kartu su Nerijum Leškiu čia studijoje tęsiam pokalbius apie universitetus, kurie prisistato. Tai mados industrija, toks Juozo Statkevičiaus dalykas, apie kurį čia mes kalbėjom, bet kuogi gali būti baigus šitas studijas? Statkevičium? Kuo dar?
Tai aš galvoju pirmiausiai, Karoli, turbūt kūrėjų. Nes jeigu mes kalbam apie mados dizainą ir tikslas turbūt tie, kurie baigia mados dizainą, jie tikrai nori turėti savo kažkokią, nežinau, rūbų liniją, mados liniją, kurią atidarys. Turiu turbūt savo praktikoje vieną tokią tikrai išskirtinę asmenybę, kurią tikrai mačiau nuo pirmų dienų. Tai mokėsi Kauno Jono Jablonskio gimnazijoje, tai yra Katrina Knizekevičiūtė, kur manau, kad jeigu pasigūglinsit, pasižiūrinėsit, tikrai yra ir daug straipsnių šiuo metu parašyta apie pačią Katriną. Tai jinai tikrai yra jaunoji dizainerė, kuri dar tik tai yra pakilime turbūt tos aukštosios mados link, kyla tikrai į tą viršų. Ir tikrai tikiu, kad artimiausiu metu turbūt per ateinančius 2, 3, 4 metus mes apie ją vis dažniau girdėsim, kada žodis asocijuosi su mada. Ir
taip, turime kelis klausimus labai konkrečius apie šį universitetą, pavyzdžiui, kokių egzaminų reikia stojant į mados dizainą.
Tai iš esmės aš galvoju, kad tie, kurie planuojat studijuoti madą, tai turit būti visiškai ramus. Jeigu mes kalbėsim apie studijas užsienyje, šiuo atveju apie Didžiąją Britaniją ir jeigu konkrečiau apie Creative Arts, tai mados, ne tik mados, apskritai meno universitetai nėra reiklus valstybiniams egzaminams. Tai jūs galite laikyti visiškai laisvai tuos egzaminus, kuriuos pasirinkote, tuos, kuriuos tik geriausiai tikitės išlaikyti. Nėra jokio skaičiaus, kiek jūs jų turėtumėt laikyti. Tai taip, kad valstybiniai egzaminai šitoj gal vietoj, aš pasakyčiau, paprastai jie tiesiog nežaidžia jokios rolės.
O apie portfolio svarbą?
Čia turbūt yra būtent tai, kas atstoja visus valstybinio egzaminų reikalavimus, nes tikrai reikia suprasti, kad jeigu planuojat būti mados dizaineris, tai tikisi pats universitetas tikrai ne tai, kad jūs ateisit kaip stiprus matematikas, fizikas, chemikas ir kad valstybinį matematikos 100 būtumėt gavę, bet jie tikisi, kad jūs turite tam tikrus įgūdžius, kurių reikia šiai sričiai. Ir vienas iš dalykų, tai kalbėjom nuolatos, tai motyvacinis, bet stojant į menus, tai turbūt aš netgi sakyčiau, kad tai yra svarbiausias dalykas. Tai yra portfolio, apie kurį dabar buvo klausimas. Ir portfolio tai yra jūsų darbai, tuos, kuriuos jūs patys esat sukūrę. Ir stojimo metu reikia pateikti portfolio. Kas yra portfolio? Tai yra tiesiog jūsų darbai. Ir priklausomai nuo to, ar jūs planuojat studijuoti mados dizainą, ar jūs planuotumėt studijuoti, kaip pavyzdys, fotografiją, ar ten muzikos atlikimas turėtų būti. Tai visą tai mes kalbam apie menus ir visiems menam yra reikalingas portfolio.
Iš esmės jau parodyti, ką esi padaręs.
Tikrai taip, ir jeigu duoti jums tų tokių tipsų, tai iš esmės daug kartų yra tekę kalbėti su atstovais, tie, kurie yra dėstytojai, tie, kurie vertina motyvacinius laiškus, tie, kurie vertina portfolio. Tai mūsų Lietuvoje, kada mes esame mokinami ten dailės muzikos mokykloje, labai dažnai mes mokomės tų standartinių dalykų. Ir labai dažnai universitetai, jeigu jūs pateikinėsi tuos standartinius dalykus, kaip dailės mokykloje, tą visą piešimą tokį akademinį, tai jame neina išvelgti tų išskirtinumų. Todėl mano patarimas, tie, kurie šiuo metu, nežinau, 9, 10, 11 klasiai, kad svarbiausia dalis stojimo metu tai yra vadinamas sketchbookas. Sketchbookas tai yra jūsų ta asmeninė kūryba, kur galbūt klasėje sėdit ir tikrai gal kartais per pamoką nuobodžiaujat, bet kažką tenai piešėt, kažkokius eskizus darote. Tai yra būtent jūsų asmeninė kūryba ir tai yra tie raktiniai dalykai, ką įžvelgia dėstytojas, kuris svarsto jūsų potencialą ir svarsto ar jūs priimti. Tai yra universitetas, kur aš galvoju, jisai papuola turbūt. Aš sakyčiau tikrai, jeigu pasižiūrėtumėt, sakyčiau gal netgi į top kokį 10 pasaulio universitetų pagal meną.
Okei, tai jau skamba galingai, bet apie kalbą mes galim čia pakalbėti.
Vis dėlto mes kalbam apie studijas anglų kalba, kada jūs ir paskaitose sėdėsit, ir literatūrą skaitysit, ir konspektuositės, ir turėsit tos darbinius santykius su grupiokais, kur darysit projektinius darbus. Tai anglų kalba yra, kaip sakau, neatsiejamas dalykas studijų užsienyje.
O dėstytojai, kurie šią specialybę dėsto, jie daugiau teoretikai, ar yra ir tokių praktikų, kaip aš vėl labai siaurai išmanau šitą sritį, bet įsivaizduoju, kad jeigu Lietuvoje dėstytų kažkas tokius dalykus, tai turbūt būtų tokios pavardės bent jau, kaip, nežinau, mano jau minėtas Juozas Statkevičius, nieko kito iš korifėjų nesugalvoja.
Aš galvoju, Karoli, kad tikrai turbūt tame ir yra didžiulis pranašumas, kad studijų užsienyje dėstytojai ne tik tai mados srityje, bet apskritai tie, kurie dėsto universitetuose, didžioji dalis jų arba tuo metu dirbantis tose srityse ir ateina dėstytojauti į universitetą, arba yra dirbę, nes čia yra siekiamybė universitetų. Dėstytojus turėtų ateinančius iš industrijos. Ir kalbant apie mados studijas, tai tikrai daug kartų yra tekę lankytis mados universitetuose ir tam pačiam Londone, keletą universitetų ir Arts London, ir Middlesex University. Tai realiai, ta prasme, kas labai patiko, kad studentai visą laiką turi baigiamosius darbus, kur universitetai mados, jie kviečiasi industrijoje pripažintus žmonės, kurie yra pasiekę madoj, kaip vertinimų komisijos narius, tie, kurie padeda atrinkti geriausius darbus. Ten 10 geriausių darbų yra siunčiama į Londono mados savaitę, kurie turi puikias galimybės pasirodyti labai didelį auditoriją ir turbūt tai, nežinau, elitiniai auditorijai, kur vėliau jie gali būti ir pastebėti.